Percy Harvin talking about the trade. By the numbers, Harvin has 49 receptions on screen passes the past 5 seasons, third most among all wide receivers. Harvin, one of the most productive wideouts in the league. So will he be a steal for the Jets? That is the question. Stephen A. Smith, do you have the answer?
Sure, he'll be a steal for the Jets because they didn't have anything to begin with. So anything is an upgrade. Anything's a plus. Your definition of a number 1 receiver is Eric Decker? I'm sorry. Who cares who 2 and 3 is? Cumberland's your tight end. You got running backs, which is solid, and Chris Ivory, Chris Johnson. Geno Smith clearly needs some help. And the Seattle Seahawks basically gave Percy Harvin away when you consider the draft pick that they gave up for him. So when you consider it from that perspective, and it didn't even involve a first rounder, and the draft picks were conditional, I don't think there's any doubt that it was a coup, it was a steal. It's just that I agree with my man Ian O'Connor, columnist extraordinaire for ESPNNewYork.com, when he writes that the mere fact that John Idzik, the general manager for the Jets, would call it a potential coup shows you how desperate he is and how inept he has been at his job. I hate having to call a man out. I interviewed him a couple of times. Seems to be a very, very nice man. But I get tired of these executives that sit back and, everything is, you're a cap specialist or whatever the case may be. I'm almost to the point where why don't we have a cap specialist designated to do just that and bring in real football people to make football decisions, as opposed to getting somebody who's just a numbers cruncher and asking them to make football decisions. It's really a problem because when you consider the fact that Idzik had in excess of $20 million in available cap space, and you did absolutely nothing to really buffer this roster in a significant fashion, I might add, it really is disturbing.
Eric Decker?
Again, you know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about that. Again, we found him. We knew he was at the Super Bowl. I keep saying this. We knew he was at the Super Bowl. They did an interview. Yep. We knew he was at the Super Bowl afterwards because we saw a tweet or a quote.
No, I knew he was there because he caught 1 ball for 6 yards.
But during the Super Bowl, we couldn't find him for 60 minutes, pretty much. So, to me, it was just pathetic. And when I look at Idzik and the decisions that he's made, missing out on Antonio Cromartie, letting him get out the door, not getting Darrelle Revis, having an opportunity at Emmanuel Sanders, and missing out on him because you wanted to watch Texas Tech pro game, and you got Jay Samaro as a result of it, but still, that ain't Emmanuel Sanders. I'm just looking at the plethora of decisions that this man has made that has just been unimpressive. And it just says to me, this Percy Harvin move is about him saving his hide as opposed to giving, Rex Ryan what he needs. If the Seattle Seahawks made this deal now, there is no question in my mind they could have done it earlier. They could have done it earlier. Idzik wasn't interested in it earlier, as far as I'm concerned. I'm not saying literally, Skip. I know he would always be interested. I'm just simply saying you could have made this. We might probably had to give up a little bit more or settle for a little bit more. But the bottom line is you could have got Percy Harvin earlier to help out Rex Ryan. You didn't do it. So to me, it's not good enough.
And by the way, you have interviewed him on radio.
Yes.
But this is just me watching SportsCenter incessantly the way I do. I can't remember if I've seen John Idzik in public before, right? Did he come out of hiding yesterday? Well, it was like he came out to say, look what I did.
And
I did something right.
And that seems to be Woody Johnson, the owner's MO, because Mike Tannenbaum, I've often joked he should have been working for the CIA. Couldn't find him, had nothing to say. These are the people that they seem to have in these executive positions to hide somewhere when they make these inept decisions.
Okay. Now, to your points. Remember what you used to tell me about what you thought Kevin McHale did for his old buddy and teammate Danny Ainge in Boston with Kevin McHale?
That's right.
Here.
That's what Seattle did for Idzik.
Right? Yes. I think Seattle did that for Idzik because John Schneider and Idzik go way back. They've worked together for other teams. They sort of came up the ladder together. And he talked about yesterday how connected he is in Seattle. Well, you would think that a man who is so connected, if Seattle says, we just can't live with this guy anymore, you would think that Idzik is so connected that he would be the first to say, well, if they can't live with him, I can't. But it feels like a little bit of a here, John, I'm going to help you save your hide in New York with the Jets. I'm going to give him for a conditional, what is it, a 4 that could become a 2? That's all it is for Percy Harvin. This is the most dangerous game breaker in all of pro football. I'm the first to admit. He can be dangerous to his own team because he does have some anger management or whatever you want to couch it as. He's got some issues. He's had issues with teammates. He's had issues with concussion. He's had issues with migraine. He's had some minor injury issues. But when he is right, nobody is righter than Percy Harvin. When I am rooting against, or when I was rooting against the Seahawks, one man scared me to death. Percy Harvin. When Dallas went to Seattle, I was most afraid of Percy Harvin. They shut him down. Maybe he shut himself down, although he said yesterday it was not true what was reported that he took himself out of the end of the Dallas game. Now, I don't know, but that's what he said. But my point is, the Jets did this is a flat-out steal for the New York Jets. Now, if they continue to struggle this year, in large part because of the quarterback and because they don't have any cornerbacks to buffer the defense, will Percy Harvin not be a happy camper slowly but surely? This man's used to winning championships. So he might not love it the rest of the year, but if they can get him fairly healthy and fairly happy going into next year, you don't think this is a coup for the Jets?
Yeah.
It puts them back on the map.
Well, first of all, nobody should be happier than Geno Smith.
Yeah.
You've got a deep threat.
Right.
You've got a deep threat. As far as I'm concerned, you have a legitimate number one option. If you're Rex Ryan, you still haven't been wedded to some degree in terms of your appetite, your satisfaction. The reason why, Skip, is that you still need your defense improved so you can be who you are. Yeah. Now, obviously, more offense helps you. It's definitely going to help Morningwig because it's going to give that offensive coordinator some options. But in the end, what it really, really does is preserve Idzik because, listen, New York Jets fans have been screwed over. It's just that simple. Rex Ryan, we know what he is defensively. Now, we understand that he probably has to go because he's too deficient offensively and in special teams and just overall running the team. But on the defensive side of the ball, he's definitely legit. The problem is that I have a problem with the fact that Idzik might end up getting credit for this, and as a result, it may save his hide because to me, you have an obligation as a GM. Billy King taught me this years ago. The GM for the Brooklyn Nets, who was formerly with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Ice bucket challenge, right? Ice bucket challenge.
The one who challenged him.
Oh, yeah, he did do that to me. He's such a Benedict on. But anyway, the point is that Billy King once told me when, there was dispute in terms of what Larry Brown wanted, but Billy King got it for him, even though Larry Brown, everybody was wondering, is this the way to go? And he said, if you hire a coach and you believe in him, you have to give him what he says he needs to be effective. That way, it's on him. But it's hard to hold him accountable when you don't give him the pieces that he needs. They're going to hold Rex Ryan accountable, even though they clearly didn't give him the pieces that he needs. And I think that's incredibly unfair.
Okay. Bottom line, the Patriots, your Patriots and my Patriots, still have to play at the Jets this year. I'm a lot more concerned about that game because of Percy Harvin.
Should be.
He's in green now.
Yes.
Okay, so Percy Harvin said that he was very forthright with the staff, the coaches, everything that went on in Seattle.
Well, I will say this: that smile looked a little fake.
But you didn't. He said he took full responsibility.
But that's what I'm asking. I'm saying to you, Kerry. I agree that what he said was what he said, but the smile just looked a little bit.
Meaning? Meaning, like,
I'm just saying he don't really do that. So when you do it too much,
okay,
we're not buying it.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
Fell on the sword.